sit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
I have 30 minutes for you. You know, when there is a good authority that people respect, and there's nothing as important as people respecting authority. So that even if you're a small man holding a big office, people should not look at you in terms of your stature,
Right.
but the stature of the office and the authority you carry. Kofi Annan used to say he was a man with a soft voice, but a powerful message. And people listened to him, and people went away doing the right things. So we as Parliament will help you, but we will help you within the context of the obtaining environment, because I'm very sure, Bishop, after 10th August 2027, we shall not hear of you until 2032. Yes, 2031, you'll just pop up and be very active again and make very big statements all over, on TV, everywhere. As soon as the elections are over, off you go. But you can help IEBC improve their code of conduct. When I was running for elections, one of the documents you sign at IEBC is a code of conduct. That when I go up to the field, I'll not engage in hate speech, I'll not bribe voters, I'll not hire goons to exert violence on others, I will not do this, the do's and don'ts. You can be very helpful in doing that. You can be very helpful in being some of the accredited local agencies to observe elections. Because the IEBC accredits teams to observe elections. NCIC, you can be a very good body. Assign yourself each per region. I can give you money from Parliament to manage this process out there, so that, and elections are not about casting a vote. It's a process.
Right.
So for you to be effective from where I sit, you need some very serious collaboration with other agencies, so that even as primary actors, you must have a feeder group that you feed. For example, an MOU with the DPP, have an MOU with the DCI, have an MOU with ESCC, have an MOU with all those bodies that do identical work or can help further what you do, so that whatever you do does not go to gather dust in certain offices. And Parliament will support you in whatever way you want, so that you can be a different commission this time.
That's right.
Yeah. We registering voters. How can IEBC register voters who have no IDs? That's where it starts. So you can also help in policing the community and the nation, saying, ensuring, come up with data. In this area, there is an equal distribution of identity cards. President Ruto has done very well. From where I come from, we are a frontier county, Bungoma. Getting an ID is a nightmare until President Ruto came in. You go to get an ID, what's your name? What's your father's name? What's your grandfather's name? What's your great-grandfather's name? Where did he come from? Where did he settle? Why did he settle here? By the time you answer those questions, you've given up and you leave. You get 60-year-olds without IDs because of those restrictions.
Yeah.
You are treated as a non-citizen, you have given birth to citizens.
Right.
And so on and so forth. So those are some of the things that are important for the cohesion of the nation, because when people are discriminated and become disenchanted, eventually they become rebellious, eventually they become violent. And that is how conflicts are created. Because when you deny me my rights, and I know them, and I can't access them, that's why in my early years when I used to go to northern Kenya to practice law, you go to Mandera and somebody tells you, mi natoka Mandera naenda Kenya. mi natoka Wajir naenda Kenya, mi natoka Lodwar naenda Kenya, because they never failed, they were Kenyans. Kenya was Nairobi and the so-called high potential areas. Those things have been reversed by a presidential order and some law, but they now need actualization by organizations like yours. As you broaden your thinking, also assist Kenyans to appreciate that social media is a good communication tool and can also be an instrument of extreme distraction. I sometimes, I'm not a fan of social media, but once in a while, when I wake up at 3:30 to go to my study, I spend 1 hour looking at what is on social media, and it's frightening. People have thrown caution to the wind, and there's obscenities that they exchange, the hate speeches that you see, make this, those of us who love this country feel very worried.
Yes. That's true.
Again, then you should engage the data commissioner and others and see, even the service providers. How do we, these FM talk shows, you hear what people say, and they're live. Yes, you know, in many jurisdictions, there is a gap between what you say and what goes to the public, and there's an automatic truncation of offensive material.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, if our children just see you, I sit on TV or on radio and call you a thief without any evidence and get away with it, or say something worse than that, they start thinking that is a way of life. As a commission, you need to brush your image now. Or you want to cut a niche for yourself as a commission that goes on to record as helping the Minister of Education to shape the curriculum of Kenya in calculating patriotic thinking in our children, eliminating hate speech from our children, eliminating negative ethnicity from our communities, and so on and so forth. So that even as you are not fighting to fame or to notoriety, as the case may be with politicians, people will remember that this commission shaped the educational structure of this country to tell our children from the time they enter school that you are a Kenyan. If you cross the border at Namanga and you go to Tanzania, a Tanzanian feels very offended if you ask them what tribe they are.
That's true.
They are just Tanzanians, bound by one language. Even when they have other ethnic languages, they all communicate very fluently and effectively in Kiswahili.
Article 67 of the bill that is before Parliament speaks of seeking for consent, or rather giving notice to the leader of the institution of the person you are going to investigate. So that if you want to investigate one of your members of Parliament, Speaker, we have to give you notice before we can investigate. If we need to investigate a CS, I don't know if we give notice to the head of public service or the president, but that confusion, and you see there are other institutions that we don't know who is the head of that organization. So it basically really clips us as a commission. We don't know the conversations that went behind to for this bill to be where it is, but from as the fourth commission, we have seen that it is a bill that, in as much as it has its pros, which is to align the commission with the constitution, it really clips us as a commission. It sort of reduces the efficiency of how we can work it out. So that is my presentation, Honorable Speaker, on the bill. Yes, and Honorable Speaker, finally, I could say that the support that we can get from your office is very immense, because, as our chair has said, one of the biggest challenge we have is with the politicians, and we are at a season where every weekend, as long as politicians go to the field over the weekend, there's something that is always coming up, and we are organizing an Amani conference, is part of the document, and we are hoping that we can have participation of the elected members and basically the House through you, Honorable Speaker, and we can be able to decide as a country how we want to go towards the 2027 election. What are the things that we are not supposed to do? In 2022, the list that I remember, there was NCIC gave a list of the clauses that we can't use. We can't say this, we can't say spangwing, we can't say, and it was a whole discussion. NCIC is facing is that we did not do that. The act, the way it was in 2008, it has never been amended to reflect the 2010 constitution, and also even there are no regulations under the act to date, and we are talking about of almost 20 years after its enactment, and that is why we have challenges. So we are asking if the House can support us, and of course we know with your leadership we can get the support to first of all align our institution, NCIC, with the 2010 constitution, anchor it under Article 59 of the Constitution, so that we become a constitutional commission like CAJ and GEC. And then after that challenge is resolved, then we restore the independence of the commission and also the security of tenure. This is important because it's good when a commission comes in, they can work through the next election cycle. There is no fear of reappointment, because if it's a 3-year term, then you're working mostly seeking to be reappointed, and you do not have that independence to do the task, doing its work, because the first thing that is in the bill is that the independence of NCIC clause has been deleted. So that now that bill does away with the independence and introduces a fixed term, or rather removes the fixed term of 6 years and introduces a 3-year term, renewable once. The effect of that is that NCIC becomes a normal statutory organization or a saga, and stops being an independent commission. So that is one of the most serious issues that we have with that bill as the 4th commission, and we are requesting if such amendments can be introduced into the bill before the same is
You are among the Chapter 15 commissions.
Honorable Speaker, we are not among the Chapter 15 commissions as in the Constitution.
Okay.
NCIC was created just after the 2007 and 8 post-election violence, and so the NCIC Act is an act of 2008.
You are a statutory body.
Yes, before the 2010 Constitution, only that it provides for independence.
Okay.
Honorable Speaker, when the 2010 Constitution came in, there was room for these institutions to align themselves and revise their laws to align with the Constitution. So, for instance, the CAJ, Commission on Administrative Justice, it used to be Office of Ombudsman. But after the 2010 Constitution, they were able to go quickly and anchor their mandate in the 2010 Constitution under Article 59, and they became a sister commission of KNHCR, which is now established under Chapter 15. So CAJ is a constitutional commission, even though it is not listed under the Chapter 15 commissions, because they were able to align their law with the Constitution. They are anchored under criminal law, so that you find there is hate speech and ethnic incitement. And the remedies are that you need a successful conviction in a criminal court of law. And as lawyers, we know that the balance of proof in a criminal case is beyond reasonable doubt. So we are asking if we can, and this new bill that is before Parliament at the moment does not cure that. It still insists, or rather, yes, it insists on the criminal remedies, but if we could have a leeway for civil remedies for this act, then it will be able to strengthen the commission. And the civil remedies that we are looking at, Honorable Speaker, are, for instance, I think those are at article. I'm trying to go quickly because if I go clause by clause, I will take long. Honorable Speaker, we are asking, we already, NCIC has quasi-judicial powers. If these quasi-judicial powers can be expanded so that what we do is not just issuing compliance notices, because the remedy that is given for civil remedies is that NCIC should hear a matter, and after hearing, they just issue a compliance notice. and the compliance notice, it doesn't really state what we can do and what we cannot do. The Office of Data Protection Commissioner came in place in 2019, and they have a very good remedy called administrative fines, for instance. They are able to hear a matter and be able to adjudicate and give administrative fines. And then from there now, if someone is dissatisfied, they go for judicial review, because it becomes an administrative process. So if we can be given that power to hear and recommend remedies, which include administrative penalties, giving orders for certain things to be done, compliance, cessation, prohibition, amendments, corrective actions, and basically maybe it can be also directly apology, public correction, retraction of the statement. But we need to be able to have these civil remedies so that we can be able to tame this problem that we have of hate speech. Because one of the we really have never gotten a conviction since NCIC came in place, a proper conviction for hate speech, because the balance of proof is very high, and there's always a defense. But for civil remedies, we'll be able to work on that.
And among the stakeholders, of course, are our political leaders, so to say, legislatures. We would wish to make sure that we work with them very closely. That's why we have come out very strongly in terms of taming hate speech, ethnic polarization, and some of the things that we are seeing out there in meetings almost every weekend. What is anchored in Article 10 of the Constitution, and what is clearly spelled in the NCA Act, of which we have discussed with you and we have put it in the document. But more importantly, we are preparing ourselves for the 2027 elections, before, during, and after. And we realized there are a number of engagements that we would wish to address, and especially during this time where we are. And we felt we would appreciate if we can have this opportunity which you have accorded us. So, Honorable Speaker, we came into the office. Of course, we are within the first 100 days of our rapid response in ensuring that we execute the mandate of the Commission, and we began our programs, and we are running with that. Yes. In the process, we had to do what we call the scanning of the environment, to getting to know the Commission where we are serving and the kind of responsibilities we've been given. And we came up with what we would call the strategic direction, hotspot areas that have been flagged, or what we call the high-risk areas. And we want to do what we call the early response. There is what we call the early warning and the early response. How can we combat that and make sure we do not allow what we saw in 2028 or 2008 repeat itself? The conflict hotspot mapping has already been done. Then we have what we call the Uyano platform, that is going to bring together all political actors, like I've said, and some of the stakeholders. We agree on the way forward. And then we have what we call the Amani Kwa Ground. It's on the document, Honorable Speaker, where we want to come up with a strategy of engaging communities. We use the elders, we use the Yubakumi elders, what we call community engagement. Polarization, like I've mentioned, we would want to make sure that hate speech does not, or is not tolerated at all. Let political leaders campaign along issues, not personality backlashes and, let me say, polarizing the environment. So we have come out very strong on that, and we want to enforce the NCI Act to the letter. And we have begun that, by the way, even calling on some of the political leaders that are breaching the law. And then, number two, we feel that we need to find a way of addressing our political leaders and call them to sobriety. apart from using the media, what else can we do? Is it possible for us to meet all of them wherever they are, even if it means coming to Parliament, both houses? And we clearly ask our leaders to tone down and to confine their politics and what they say out there within the law. It's a request that we have passing across so that there is sanity and hygiene politics in the country. Because, Honorable Speaker, you know very well, the greatest triggers and troubleshooters are political leaders, not wananchi. And that's exactly what's happening out there. How can we call our political leaders to order? Who is going to do it? We felt NCIC Commission have the mandate to do that through my leadership. The interventions that we are looking at, we are in the process of coming what we call the transgenerational dialogue or discourse, where we would want to have a framework put in place for political decency, accountability, and especially responding to what the country is looking towards to. We are coming up with what we call elections bila noma. That's a strategy that we have come up with. It's a political roadmap, or rather where we are calling like political decency, where we would wish to see political actors sign what we call a peaceful charter, so that anybody who preaches that can be held into account. Not all political leaders, honestly, going beyond, but if we came up with, for example, we are thinking of an Amani conference where we bring the political leaders or the stakeholders together and be able to talk, engage, and then at the end we sign that political decency charter that would call elections bila noma. There is this document that was released the other day, are able to read from one script in terms of the social cohesion aspect, ensuring that we have the social cohesion in our communities. We are aware that we have the intra and the intertribal sometimes conflicts. How can we ensure people don't ride on that? And we bring in sanity. I'm just doing some brief. And then we have the Amani clubs in schools, institutions of higher learning. We want to mainstream peace education in those institutions, and also make use of
Okay.